Hopefulness day 3. I'm gonna go ahead and toss out half of that starter because it's just not looking great. And because I forgot to feed it yesterday too, so it's 2 days in a row where I forgot to feed it. It's pretty lazy yesterday, so much so I did almost nothing. Like this was my dinner because it just didn't feel like otherwise. So let's go ahead and dump in 113 approximately grams of flour. Get close. I'm also running out of flour too. I've got a big ass fucking thing of it, so. Oops. Almost every time. It was so close. I was so close to not getting any flour on the scale. Every time I always get flour on the scale. You know, since I have that, I might as well just grab the other one. For whatever reason, it was trying to open up on this side when I brought it back from the store, so why not just open it up from this side? Oof. Yeah. So this will be fun since I've already got flour in there. And it's not just a straight up empty bag. Generally, what I'll do is dump it like that. Get out. Get out of the bag. Yeah, and it has in here to cook before sneaking a taste. Flour is raw. Hopefully I have enough room in here. I think I do. Got a little bit on the countertop. But yeah, flour is probably your greater chance of getting something like salmonella than eggs. Generally speaking. Let's just put you there now since you'll make a better mess in there. All right. Problem with these storage bags is that the flour let's go ahead and dampen it with paper towel. Let's we can get flour off. Got a little bit on my shirt now. I don't even know what the hell I was saying. Saying there was a problem with flour. I don't remember what the problem was. Other than you can get salmonella from it because it's uncooked. I mean, I've made a giant mess. I haven't cleaned up all my stuff yet. Like I said, yesterday was a super lazy day. I just felt like doing goddamn nothing. Now I need to put in refilled this. Oops, too much. 119, don't want that much. Water is so dense, especially when it's cold. There's so little is required to make it go up in weight. Let's go ahead and get a cup for some water. It's funny, I thought I was going to be hungry after making those eggs, and then I didn't want to eat anything for fucking hours. Like a long, long time. I don't think I made anything until close to like 7 or 8, maybe later. Not even sure. It was a while. It was a long time. And granted, you know, maybe you don't. I don't know. Whatever. Part of the reason why my eggs turned out the color that they turned out yesterday is because I put pepper in it. Pepper is black, so it'll turn something, you know, pale, a darker color. It's one of the reasons why a lot of seasonings, especially the more colorful stuff, ends up going in later or at the very end as a garnish. Mix this up really good. So I gotta mix it with some of the old so that the old doesn't want to die off too much. Do a bit of dishes here before I can do anything really. So I'm gonna do that. Once I kind of. Well, also another issue with regards to the safety of the flour is. Oh yeah, I forgot. I forgot to take my antidepressant today. But, I'm pretty sure this isn't what I was going to be talking about, but I might as well talk about it too. Is one of the things about flour and its danger is that flour is really, really tiny particles. And because of that, if it gets near an open flame, especially if, let's say, you have sort of a flour bomb, you can create a fine particulate explosion. And that is an undesirable outcome. So, you know, like, don't put flour inside, like, don't put flour inside of a hairdryer? What the fuck? Who does that? mean, sure, more than 90% of the time, it's probably going to be safe. But it's not the times when it's safe. It's the times when it's unsafe. It's the times when you basically create a flamethrower in your fucking house, and since it's usually done as a prank, some innocent bystander, innocent victim, ends up getting blasted in the face with fucking fire. Don't do that. It's a great way to injure or kill somebody. The injury comes in so many forms. You know, it reminds me of like the people bitching about COVID. Oh, it's only got a 1% death rate. Sure. You know, I'm sure flower explosions, especially putting them in your fucking hair dryers, has a really low death rate too. But it doesn't mean it's okay. It doesn't mean that it's an acceptable thing to just do. It's like, fucking use your head. Just because there's a low chance doesn't mean it needs to be done in the first fucking place. Now, there's some things that one could argue that, you know, we just have to do them anyway. We have to drive, even though it's about a 1% chance of dying every time you get in a car. And you could say, well, yeah, we've got to use cars to get around. We don't have to. We could make a better, you know, society where we don't need to. That'd be nice, right? Right? Right. You know, it's risk. It's not just risk aversion. It's risk mitigation. Some things, despite how inherent or otherwise dangerous they may be, they don't need to be done. Like, it's easy to wear a mask. It's easy to get a vaccine. It takes so little time and effort. Sure, it takes a little bit of time out of your day. It's an inconvenience. But, and you know, wearing the mask all day is an inconvenience. But it's still easy to do. This is why people have been making laws about them. Because it's like, bitch, you're so fucking lazy, we have to make it a law for you to do this. You know, your privilege is showing when a minor inconvenience is being presented as oppression or as government overreach. It's like, what the fuck are you smoking? The whole freedom convoy that, you know, fizzled out in DC, like, yeah, it got some legs in Canada with people claiming their First Amendment rights. You don't have the same rights in Canada. I mean, in a way, yes, you do, but at the same time, you don't, not legally. It's, you know, that's one of the reasons why the concept of countries and borders and shit like that, you know, fucking ridiculous, but the whole humans are just stupid. Humans are stupid. And too many times we reward instead of punish the ones who really should be punished. You know, the restaurant patron who makes a big ass fuss about their dinner or whatever. I mean, I get it if, you know, there's something wrong with it, but you can't be bitching and moaning about it after you finished eating the fucking thing. You've eaten your whole dinner. Now you're gonna be an asshole. What the fuck? Why do we reward that behavior? Why do we reward that? It's not even just childish. Like, that's an insult to children. Children don't know any better, generally. Generally, not always. Children, if they're taught properly, know better, depending on the age and so many other factors, but adults acting like petulant, just assholes. Because, like, that's what the Freedom Convoy is about. That's what, like, it was. It's like, I'm sorry, but the reason why there's been a mandate, or why there have been restrictions, and so on and so on and so on, is because there is a pandemic going on. It's still going, by the way. It's not over. And just because the current version of COVID isn't nearly as deadly, which some people are like, well, it wasn't that deadly in the first place, blah, blah, blah. Masks were useless this whole time. No, they were useful in the very beginning when it had a really hard time proliferating. But see, now masks are useless, for the most part, because it's endemic. It's here to fucking stay. It wouldn't have become endemic if the crybaby adults would have fucking done their goddamn due diligence and just done what was fucking necessary, including former fuckface 45. I didn't even watch this yesterday. All I did was just dump the water in here. Yeah, we're still going on about COVID. Why are we still going on about COVID? It's still here. And yes, now that it's endemic, one might say, well, the past is the past. You just have to move on. All right. Fine. I'll do that. I'll move on. And I'll tell you the exact same fucking thing on Memorial Day, on Veterans Day, on 9/11, on D-Day, on Pearl Harbor Day. You know, we want me to go on? Those were different. Why? Why were they different? They were still humans acting on other humans negatively, destroying lives. Destroying economies, turning us against each other, etc., etc., etc. It's all the same. There's the title. It's all the same. You know, I would ask myself, or rather I should ask myself, the same question I would want to ask others. So I will. I'll do it out loud. What am I really bitching about? What do I really care about? Why am I angry about these things? You know, it's like the question I would ask of somebody who cares about the border. You know, our border is pretty fucking secure. Like, we don't really need further border protocols. It's pretty goddamn secure in a negative way, I would say. But a person might still think that we need to secure our borders, even though we don't need to. Because most of the illegal immigration comes from the ports. It comes from points of entry that have been done so legally, with proper documentation. You don't like hearing that information. But the question I would ask is, what do you really actually care about? It's not about the border. You don't really care about the border. The border is something for you to talk about instead of the thing that actually matters. And I'll be honest, I bet the same thing that everybody wants. I bet the reason behind wanting more border security or more national defense or whatever is all the same. And it's the same for me. Personal safety. Personal security. I'm pretty sure that's what it is for everybody. We all want the same thing for ourselves. We all want freedom, prosperity, not only just for ourselves, but our loved ones. We want safety, we want security, we want the opportunity for prosperity, but we really want prosperity more. Like, nobody wants the pursuit of happiness. People want happiness. And happiness obviously comes in so many ways. They want their kids to do well. They want clean water. They want internet. They want to be able to talk to their friends. They want to be able to see their friends. They want to be able to go to a job that they like. They want to be able to do stuff that they enjoy. Because human life is suffering. We all know it. Not everybody wants to mention it. Oh yeah, there's people out there going to be like, life is beautiful. But that's when everything's going right for them. But if all those things were taken away, we wouldn't be saying it. So life isn't beautiful, not by default. It's only when we get all those things. And yet we try to deny them from others. We supposedly have this greatest country on the planet, yet we won't even let people over here. Because you're afraid that somehow the world that you already live in, the country that you already fucking live in, that you somehow think is so great, but you're not allowed to share it? No, because it's not as great as you think it is. Hence, why we have Fuckface 45 talking about trying to make it great again. Well, newsflash, it was never great in the first place. You probably already knew it, but there were things that happened in recent history that opened your eyes to how great it's not. You learned the truth. So it's not that you want it to be great again. It's that you want to be lied to again. You want the truth to be obfuscated. You want your delusion back. Because that helps provide a sense of safety and comfort. Ignorance is bliss. But it's too late. It's too late. You have been informed. You can't go back. It's not possible. People showed you the man behind the curtain, and now you're upset with the people who showed you the man behind the curtain, instead of the man behind the fucking curtain. Reality is unpleasant. But we can work together to make it better for everybody. But we have to work together. Putin is not trying to work together. He's not coming over saying, hey, we got this problem, we got this economic issue, and, you know, I'd really like to be able to use the oil in the Black Sea outside of Crimea and outside of Ukraine. And you're a sovereign nation. I'd really like to work together with you to make this thing happen. That would totally fucking work. Oh, he may not get exactly what he wants, but it would still work. But see, that's the thing about authoritarians. They don't see you as an equal. They see you as opposition. They see you as someone to be subjugated, controlled, and if you do not submit, you will be destroyed. Some would say, well, that's just natural. We'll let you soak in here for a bit. Go ahead, that. And that. Yeah, that works. Not a nice fit. All this tomatoey stuff. Can't we all just get along? You know, and people love to mock that. But look at what Ukrainians are doing. Look at the people who are actually being invaded right now. Look at the way that they're acting towards, especially the younger Russian troops. They're being humanitarians. They are being assaulted by these people, and they're turning the other cheek. as it were, metaphorically. And they're giving them food, they're giving them shelter. I mean, obviously they have to basically put out, disarm. And they're treating them like people. Sure, there's people who are out there, fighting back too, literally. I mean, if somebody doesn't disarm, you don't just bend over backwards and say, hey, you want to shove that AK up my ass and then pull the trigger? Of course not. And there are better people than I, that's for sure. Because I grew up in an overly combative environment that oppressed my peacekeeping nature. And so that in many ways effectively, despite my efforts, and I mean I still make efforts and not giving up entirely, but it really rewired a lot of how I behave and how I respond to stuff. That's what your childhood does to you. Especially if it's traumatic. If it's combative. If it's abusive. You will respond to aggression with aggression or something similar. If you are not taught, if you are not trained, if you are not coached by your parents to be a good human. If your parents aren't good humans, it's going to be real hard for you to do it. It's not to say that it's impossible. But it's extremely difficult. In the meantime, I still have a hard time looking for jobs, applying for jobs, searching for jobs, because I don't know what I can do. Because again, and I know it sounds like it's a broken record, but being raised in an abusive household, it doesn't teach you what your virtues are. It doesn't teach you what your strengths are. It doesn't even teach you how to look at yourself to find those things. It simply tells you, whether directly or indirectly, and I got both, that you're worthless or meaningless. And in this capitalist society where you have to have a job in order to survive, it's kind of necessary to teach people what their traits are, what their values are, at least for now, so that they can find a job that fits who they are, what they do, why they do things. One of the worst pieces of advice I've ever gotten, and I've seen it in so many ways, whether it's in movies or if it's just in real life in some capacity or another. It's like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. Go join the army. No, that shouldn't be what you do. That shouldn't be the reaction to somebody not knowing what they want to do with their fucking life. It should be, wait a minute, what's the real question? What's the real issue at hand? What is the foundation of this problem? Why does this person not understand themselves? Figure out who they are. Learn their strengths, learn their weaknesses. Learn what strengths they can use to then overcome their weaknesses, etc., etc., etc. But no, what we do instead is we dismiss them because, yet again, we are ill-equipped. It is a vicious cycle. The person who doesn't want to take the time to do it is probably themselves in a similar position. So they're just throwing out answers that they've received. With those soap. I'm sweaty. I don't even know if the phone is still running. It should be. It had plenty of charge, but you know. It's so fucking hot from all this working my ass off shit in this hot, not super hot, but hot water. Turn on the AC towers. I don't even know what I'm gonna cook. I'm gonna put some pasta in there and cook some stuff. Yeah, I know what to cook. I'm gonna cook some chicken and stuff too. Let's even check to see if you're running. You are. Good. How long? 36 minutes. It's not bad. 36 minutes of me washing dishes. I'm frustrated. I'm sure part of it has to do with the fact that I paid my rent, and then I just sold off another $2,000 of my fidelity, and so it's only going to have another $4,000 left, which is basically just 2 more months, and I don't know what's going to happen in these next 2 months. And so my feeling of safety has gone down. And so what happens when my feeling of safety goes down? I'm reminded of all the reasons why I'm here in the first fucking place. It's frustrating, it's annoying, it's terrifying, it's paralyzing. And I don't know what to do. Maybe I'll start up my Twitch today, I don't know. I'm not going to turn on the stove and start cooking until this video is over. So have fun.